Okay, brilliant, mate. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
All right, brilliant. Thank you. No, that's it. Thank you very much. Mate.
Hi.
Yeah, you too.
So it's ankles today. Ankles and feet. So I'm just going to get my book. I'm just having a look at where my placement is as well. Don't worry. We're not going to be subjected to David's nakedness for the entire time. If I stand here, yeah, that's fine. You were a minute ago. Right, hopefully my battery won't die today, so I'll get my timer up. So today is all about ankles and your feet, basically. We're going to work on just strengthening them. I know some people have struggled with some of the balance poses. I know Aaron's been having some problems when he's been running. So we're just looking at sorting out some of those issues. So some of these poses are poses that you already know, but they're slightly adapted to make them easier for the feet, but to have kind of the strengthening and the flexibility put through the feet. You can do them, some of them you can do whenever you're standing around or sitting down if you wish, just to help you. You shouldn't be disturbed by the dog because she's currently in her pen chewing on a venison ligament because it's her birthday. So she got a nice birthday surprise, which is a venison ligament. With hooves and everything. Disgusting. And Aaron let me have a lie-in until 20 to 10 when I jumped out of bed and went, oh my God, yoga. Right, so that's why I'm a little bit behind. So we're going to start in mountain pose today. So just nice ground. Oh, because no one can see my head. That's a bit ridiculous. No one can see my feet. Oh, God. I feel like a yo-yo. It's a little bit better. You'll have to turn it over maybe so you're not making that noise. So we're going to start here in mountain pose today. So just bring your arms together. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. It's completely up to you. Just when you're in this pose, you're pushing your palms together. And your elbows should be really nice and straight out to the side. But you're also pushing back on your shoulders, so we're still opening up the chest. So you're still getting a stretch. And what I want you to do is lift that back nice and straight and tall. So you're kind of almost stretching up. Tuck your tailbone in and just keep those knees loose. And I just want you to wiggle your feet until you feel that they're really grounded. Now, I know you can't really see my feet at the moment, but you can see Aaron's, and he's got his feet in the right position. So your feet are nicely together, and you're just kind of grounding yourself through the floor. So you're feeling your way until they feel nice and flat. The whole point is we're getting some movement through those ankles. Just stay in that pose. I'm just going to move this down just a little bit.
Push it back.
No, it's not back. It needs to go down. Okay, that's better. See my feet now. just focusing on the breath here. So for the last kind of 4 breaths, just want you to take a nice long breath in through the nose. Hold it for 2 seconds. 2, and then sigh it all out. Deep in. Hold it for 2, and then sigh it all out. Deep in. Hold it for 2. Sigh it out. Last one. Deep in. Sigh it all out. Return your breathing to normal. And on your next exhale, we're just going to kind of drop our arms down to our sides, okay? So arms come down. Now we're going to go into an adjusted tree pose. So we're just going to bring our foot to our ankle. I'm starting with my left, so feel free. I'm just going to stay here, but we're going to make sure that we're twisting that knee out. So the knee is pointing away from us at a nice sharp angle. We're trying to keep our shoulders square. And obviously you're balancing on your foot here. So if it really is a struggle, you can hold on to something, you can get a chair. Don't have your foot too high, so it's got to come down over your ankle. So your toes should be just over your ankle. You need to just move your foot down just a little bit, Alan. A bit higher, a bit more. Higher, slightly higher, that's it. So your toes are just cupping the inside of your ankle. So this is actually, the inside of your ankle is your medial malleolus. And what we're doing is, where we're balancing on this ankle here, we are getting movement through the ankle, because you probably find that your foot is moving, it's, you know, going side to side, or you might be going forwards or backwards. You're actually moving the ligaments and the tendons. You're probably moving your toes as well to help keep you balanced. And it's all perfectly fine, it's perfectly normal. But that is part of what we're doing. It's, you're just getting those movements in on the feet. You're not taking it too far. And by making sure that our left knee is pointed out to the side, we're making sure that we're getting the right kind of balance, because this feels very different to this. So try and keep it strong. If you want to put your arms out to help you balance, that's fine. You can also put your arms up if you want, or you can come put your arms to your heart center. It's completely up to you. Or your arms by your side, if that helps you balance too, that's fine. And hold it for a couple of more breaths. Okay. On your next exhale, we're going to drop the left leg down. So in, and exhale, drop it down. We're just going to swap sides. Okay.
Yeah, that was on the foot.
So we're going to swap sides, bring this one up. So Aaron's actually got a foot injury at the moment on his right side. So he came out of that pose before I did, before probably you did. And that's perfectly acceptable. If it's feeling painful, if it's causing you an actual pain, then come out of the pose. You need to drop your foot just a little bit out. So again, your toes should be going just over your ankle bone. Your ankle bone kind of sticks out a little bit like this, and your toes are going to come and kind of just cup it. And then we're twisting the knee out to the side. We're trying to keep our shoulders, I'm going to fall now, straight in front of us. And again, you're probably moving those toes, moving that foot, moving through those ankle joints. And that's fine. That's exactly what we're hoping that you will do. You're engaging all of the ligaments that are in your feet. Using all of those tendons. Your next exhale, you're going to drop that foot down. And just walk those hips. So that's still strong in the back and the hips because you've still got to hold your leg up there. So although we're working and focusing on one particular area, we are engaging other parts of the body. So we just need to remember, in case you get up tomorrow and go, oh God, why does my hips hurt? That'll be why. So we're going to take a wide squat. And the reason for taking it wide is to have our feet flat on the floor. If you're up on your toes, it's not the position that we're going to be in for now. We need to try and get our feet flat. So we're going to go as wide as your legs can with your feet flat. Your feet are going to be at an angle. You're just going to drop down into this squat. But I want you to try and keep your back up. So once you've found your legs position, and you're down in that squat on your feet, put your hands on your knees, straighten those elbows, tuck that bum in, really engage that core. Just try and hold that position there. Now this is really strong in the knees, it's strong on the ankles, strong on your core. So if this is a bit too much and you can't do it, just ease out of that squat just so that your feet are still flat. Your back is still tall, but you've not got the same kind of pressure going through all of those joints, all those ligaments up here when we want more of it down in the ankles. And that's kind of the point of staying up tall, is it gives you the pressure in the ankles as opposed to anywhere else. I'm going to do a couple of more breaths here because it is quite strong for the thighs. And then next breath, ease up. Okay. I'm going to go into a downward dog now. So we all know how to do a downward dog by now. One of the ways to ease yourself in from standing, you just put your legs hip width apart. You kind of roll over your hips, bend your knees, walk your hands out, plant your hands, and then walk your feet back. And what I want you to do today on the downward dog is really push back through your feet. So using your arms, really push back through those ankle joints. Move your arms back a little bit. And tuck your head in. Okay. On the next in-breath, we're going to bring our left knee up to go in between our hands, okay? It's here. Wiggle that right foot as far back as you can get it before it causes too much pain. Keeping your toes flexed, your toes tucked under. Drop your knee to the floor and then lean forward. Bring your left ankle back a little bit. And then just lean forward on it. So this one's actually known as a runner's lunge. Ease back out of that. 4. Drop, keeping your feet where they are. Drop down onto your bum onto your other foot. Lift back up again. Now extend those toes and drop down again. Hold on to that left leg. Try and keep that foot out straight if you can. Is that hurting your foot?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Weight in my thighs.
Next in breath, we're going to come back up to into the lunge position. This time our toes are out. Plant your hands back on the floor. Just swing that left leg behind you and hold it into the chest. Drop that knee down, back in line with the right. Tuck your toes under. We're going to push back up into downward dog, okay? So, really push those arms back. Push that shoulder back so that you're pushing down on those ankles. And if you need to walk them a little bit, that's fine. If, like Aaron, you've got an injury and it's too much, you can just lift one leg off the floor if it's hurting that foot. Okay, this time we're going to do the right. We're going to hold the downward dog for as long this time, so we're going to just swing that right knee up to in between your hands. Keeping that left toes tucked under. I'm going to walk the left toe back a little bit. Drop the knee. Just lean into that. Lean into that runner's lunge and then just wiggle that right foot back a little bit. Now if these are too much, you can be out of the lunge a little bit. You can be up if it's too painful. This does all your hands as well as your toes and your ankle, your hands and your quads. That's why it's the runner's lunge, because obviously these in runners are the ones that become very tight. From here, we're just going to move back, walking our hands back, keeping that foot pointed, but keeping it pointed, extended. Just going to drop back onto those toes just for a minute. And then we're going to lift up again. Untuck those toes at the back on the left foot. Drops ourselves down. So our bum's on the right. Hold on to that leg. Now again, if this is too much, just bend that knee. It's more about the ankle, so bend the knee but keep that foot so it's extended. And here you go. Coming back up.
Oh, yes.
Gonna bring that knee up and into the chest, as we were before on the left. Down on the next out breath. Tucking those toes under. Relax back. Just wherever your arms are, keep them where they are. Just relax back onto those toes. Just drop down. Because the point is we're stretching the toes. So you should feel this through the toes. Now your toes need to be standing up straight. So if I just turn around, excuse the bum. Don't want your feet outwards, don't want your feet inwards. They're nicely in line with your hips, but it's the toes that are tucked under. From here, come back into kind of a cat-cow position. We're going to go back up into a downward dog, but we're not going to be holding it for long, just a second, and then we're going to go into half tiger. So into downward dog. And just bring that left knee up to your chest. And that's where we're going to hold it. Pushing back on that right ankle. Now, if that's too strong, just release that back leg if that's too much in the ankle. Don't bounce. And don't bounce. Okay, drop that left foot down. Just stretch back a little bit. Through the arms, so you're pushing your arms back. And then bring that right knee up to the chest. Okay, drop that leg back down. Come back down onto your knees. Now again, making sure your toes are tucked. Your legs are kind of hip width apart. Sit back onto those toes and come up into a seated position. Now this is a big stretch on the toes, hence the reason it's called the toe pose. Just going to hold that there for a second. Then we're going to come into an extended frog. So we're going to lay down on our front. So if you just lean forward, lay down on your belly. So your left arm is bent like this. I'm conscious you can't really see me. Left arm is bent. Left leg is just out to the side. Sorry, I'm saying left because I'm showing you on my right, but you're doing it on the left. And then you're going to take, but if you're already this side, if you're already on the right, it's fine, just stay here. We'll do the right side first. And then you're going to look to the right. Try and keep your foot in line with your buttocks. It doesn't have to be all the way down to your bum. It can be up slightly. But the point is that you're getting the stretch through the ankle. Okay, relax that foot and arm back down. Bring them so they're in the same position as the opposite side. Just going to hold that for a second. Then we're going to stretch that side. Bring that in. And you look the opposite way. Again, if it's too much, just release it. Don't need to hold it there. You can hold it out to the side. And even just drop the foot a little bit. But the whole point is we're keeping that foot nicely extended like that. Okay, your next exhale, release all that down. Hold it there for a second. Just pop your forehead on the floor. So we're going to dorsiflex our feet. So dorsiflex is when you bring your toes up to meet your shin. So we've gone from extension, which is this, to dorsiflex, which is this. So just dorsiflex your feet and then bring your ankles together. And if you can lift those legs up a bit higher, that's fine. If you need to be down lower, that's fine. Down lower gives you a very different kind of stretch. Up higher gives you a different kind of stretch. And somewhere in the middle just feels nice. So whatever works for you. Just keeping the tension on those toes. Your next in breath, well, out breath, so relax those down and just walk your legs back together. Just give your back and your hips a little shake. Now we're going to do a half pigeon. So we'll start with the right because obviously it's easier for me to show you on this side rather than start with the left. So we're just going to come up into a cobra, or if you're here in a baby cobra, that's absolutely fine. And then we're just bring the right leg up. We're going to come across us at the front. This left leg is still extended. Now, for some people, this is where they are. This is their position. That's absolutely fine. For other people, they can get down here. And for other people, they can get all the way down there. And again, that's fine. If your foot is in your groin, that's perfectly fine. If you've got a little bit more, and your foot can go further out to the side, and you can still get down, that's again fine. But don't push yourself. It shouldn't be painful. Try and keep your hips square and make sure that we're not rotating over onto the left because we want to keep the stretch through the ankle. Okay. lift the arms back up to support you and then swing that leg back round to the left. We're going to bring that left leg up. Walk it round. Your knees going out, your foot's coming up a little bit. Or if it's still here in the groin, again, it's perfectly fine. Whatever is comfortable for you. Just don't push it too hard because you're still going to want to be over on this left hip. We're not leaning towards, you're on the right hip, we're not leaning to the left, we're on the right. So you're either here, showing off like Aaron with no hands, with his big strong thighs, or we're going down. Make sure that foot is extended at the back. Walk your hands back, so you stand up a little bit. Swing that left leg back to meet the right. Bring your knees forward, just so they're underneath your hips. Feet together, making sure that you keep those feet extended. Just gonna lean back on them, pushing back with our arms. And if this feels painful, just ease up a little bit, or take your feet out a bit wider. But keep your knees together because that eases the pressure a little bit. So just pushing back through. We're going to walk our hands backwards. Just going to come to seated. It's amazing how we neglect our feet considering everything we do. Most things we do involve our feet. It's nice for them to get a bit of TLC. Okay, from here we're just going to come up onto our knees. And we're just going to drop our hands onto our heels. And I can't really do both of them. Supposed to be able to come back. So if you can only do one at a time, I'll tell you what, that's what we'll do. We'll do the left side first, so we'll drop down on the left. Rotate the right shoulder back. If you can get back and get both of your hands, that's fine. My groin is still a bit so. And then come back up. And then we'll just go down on the other side, so going down on the right. Rotate that left shoulder back. Well done, that's camel pose. No one can see Aaron because I'm in the way.
It's very long.
Right, go and do it again. So that's camel pose. So if you can get like that, that's the actual pose. But I'm struggling today with my groin.
I'll stick to one side.
But it is hard and it's really strong on the core as well. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tuck our toes under. I'm just going to lean back again. For some strange reason, I cannot get both sides. But if you can get like Aaron, he's like my star pupil at the moment. And because he's here and everyone can see what he's doing. So if you've got both hands back, that's fine, just stay there. If you've not, just change sides. And then on your next inhale, just come up. Drop those toes down again. Drop your back down. Just tuck your head in. Hold your child pose. It's going to be here for 30 more seconds. It's just a nice, restful pose. If you rest below. Don't forget though, if it's hurting, if it actually is hurting on any of the ligaments in your feet, just ease them out. You can either tuck your toes under, it just brings it a bit, or just put your feet to the side, so they're further out, and then just relax. Okay, so you're going to go into a downward dog. So bring your hands back out in front of you. Come up onto all fours. Put your hands and your knees are quite close together. We're going to tuck the toes under. And on the inhale, we're going to go up. So this is a bit of a tighter downward dog. So if it's too much, just walk your legs out. If it's okay, just stay there. And slowly walk your hands backwards till your feet are on the floor flat. And just hold that there for a minute. Wiggle those toes. Oh, that feels good. Walk your hands up your legs to a tabletop. Then just relax and just ragdoll over. So bend those knees. Your feet should be probably just about hip width apart. Just gonna ragdoll. So some people like to ragdoll like this, other people like to hold on to their elbows. Whatever works for you. It's absolutely fine. Okay, slowly walking your hands back up your legs. So from the position that you're in, what we're going to do is cross our left over our right, and then we're just going to bend forward. Pushing down towards the floor. Now try not to be leaning too far back. You want to be leaning, so you want to be over your ankles. So your ankles are actively engaged here. You're stretching your calf muscles. So your soleus and your gastrocnemius. If you need to support yourself, that's fine. Either on your knees or holding on to something or even if you've got a block, when we do these downward ones, you can put the block there and just lean on the block. It takes the pressure off the back. Okay. And slowly walking your hands back up. I'm going to just open that leg out. Walk those hips. And we're just going to cross over again. So right to left this time. I'm just going to bend down. Just hold that there. Remember, we're over the ankle. So if I turn this way, we're not leaning back like this. We are over our ankles. Our ankles are actively engaged. Our feet are engaged. We're heading down to the floor with our fingers. Okay, slowly walk your hands back up. And cross those legs. Walk that hip out again. Put a bit of body facing, it's fine. Just sometimes it's easier for me to turn around to show what I mean. So from here, what we're going to do, we're going to pop our hands into our heart centre. We're going to have our feet, ankles directly in front of us. And we're going to have them about hip width apart again. And we're just going to slowly raise our heels off the floor. We're going to hold it. We're going to slowly come back down. It's not high. So just doing this slowly. Okay, when you're up, just hold, just briefly, pause for just a second, two if you can, and slowly back down. Really engaging your feet and your ankles and your calf muscles here. Try not to be out on the outside of your feet or on the inside of your feet. You want them to be really kind of centered. As you come up on your toes, you might feel yourself start to wobble and go over onto one side or the other. So just center them before you come back down. Two more like this. Last one. Okay, so we're going to go back into adjusted tree pose. So I'm just turning around so I can show you. And from here, we're just going to do the same. We're just going to come up onto our toes and then drop down. To our toes and drop down. This one's a little bit tougher. We're just going to do 10 here. So that should be 3. If it's too much, too many, just stop. Stop whenever you need. If you are still going, these are the last 2. The last one. Drop that leg down. Wiggle those hips. We're just going to go the other side. And we're going to come up again. We're not going up high, we're not going far. The last 2 now. That's 9. That's 10. Relax your arms down, drop your leg. Now, with our feet, again, hip width apart, just bend those knees, straighten that back, as if you're going to take a seat. So, just going to sit down, tuck that tailbone under, try and keep that back as straight as you can. Just going to hold this here. Pulling faces at the fact that Willow is down to the hooves. Okay, straighten those legs. Just going to come back down into a downward dog. Bending over, walking our hands, walking our feet. And this time I want you to walk those feet slowly. And your feet need to be apart. Okay, and then just stop. Come down onto your knees. Straighten those toes out so we're extending. Dropping down. Extending his arms forward. Forehead to the floor. From here, just come back to seated. We're just going to stick our feet up to the side, so they're just hanging off the mat. Just going to come up, down. Our bum goes in between. Now, if you can't do, you can have a cushion under your bum, a block under your bum. Just going to put our hands on there. So just seating. Seating, sitting. Come forward again. Bring the toes in and the knees wide. Just doing the same. So your toes should be point touching like that. So it's like big toe to big toe almost. Okay. And we're just going to come down from here. We're just going to come onto our buttocks. However you need to get on your bum. So if you want to, I'm going to stick a cushion under today. Want a cushion just to keep your tailbone tall. We're just going to pop our legs out in front of us. Now, if having them straight is too much, obviously just bend your knees. It's not a problem. We're not really focusing on the knees. We're focusing on the feet. So if you need to bend your knees, just put another cushion underneath your knees just to give them that support, that stability, so that it takes away from the pressure that's here. But if you're okay with your legs straight and your tailbone, so you're nicely tall, we're just going to bring those toes, just going to dorsiflex them so they're coming towards us. We're just going to lean forward and try and touch our big toes. All I want you to do, just with your fingers, to try and touch your big toes. Just going to hold it there for a second. release that one. We're going to plantar flex. We're going to push those feet away. Now I just want you to lean forward and touch your ankles. Really pushing away with those feet. So it's like you're chasing it with your hands and your feet are trying to escape. Okay, relax up, relax your feet. Now with your heels still on the floor, I want you just to twist. You just separate them so they're just slightly wider than your hips. And just twist your feet so your toes come together. But keep your heels on the floor. All we're going to do. So you'll be getting a stretch along the outside of your foot. Now with your feet in that position, I want you to push your toes out towards the floor. So we're plantar flexing them again. And then I want you to bring them in, so we're dorsiflexing them again, so the toes are coming towards us. And you might feel some of that stretch going along your legs as well. And that's fine, it's just when you're walking, different muscles, different ligaments, tendons, they get engaged in different areas of your legs, and we're just using all of those. You can rest your hands down, by the way, if it's too much to sit up, that's fine. So just relax your feet back to kind of a neutral position. Then we're just going to take them out to the side. So we're pointing them away from each other. Pushing them down towards the floor as much as you can get them. So we're trying to get our little toes to touch the floor. Now I can do it on my left, on my right, but I can't do it on my left. Oh, can-ish. Don't forget they're still in neutral, so it should feel comfortable. And then we're going to dorsiflex. We're going to bring them up towards us. So the reason it's dorsiflex is because the top of your foot is called your dorsum. So you're bringing your feet towards that area. And we're going to plantar flex. And again, the reason it's plantar flex is because you've got some ligaments and tendons underneath your foot that go from the heel to basically just under each toe, and they're called your plantars. So a lot of people get pain underneath there, and that's plantar fasciitis. That's because it's those ligaments and tendons that are involved. Relax your feet back to neutral. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do alternates. So we're going to just plantar and dorsey, but the opposite way. And we're going to do some rotations. So just taking that foot all the way around. And go the other way. Okay, now we're just going to move those toes. So scrunch those toes up. And really stretch them out. And hold that stretch with them stretched out. Then scrunch them up again. Really, really stretch them out. And give them a wiggle. Just wiggle those knees. Okay, and we're now going to come into Shavasana. So, whatever you need to get yourself comfortable. So get your cushions, your blankets, I'll cover your blanket. I know I normally warn you before Shavasana, but I thought I'd keep you on your toes today. Ba-dum-tish. Yoga and comedy, who knew? Okay. So get yourself nice and comfortable. And when I say nice and comfortable, one of the things a lot of people don't do is they don't plant their back into the floor. So people lay down and their back is arched. And whilst, it might be slightly natural, for the period of time that you're going to be laying on the floor, it starts to feel uncomfortable and it really pinches on the nerves. So just lift your tailbone and stretch that back out so that it all feels like it's laying on the floor. And then lay your legs down, and it feels strange across the groin for the first 30 seconds, and then everything just relaxes to how it should be. Drop your hands down by your side, make sure your shoulders are nice and comfortable. And just allow your feet to just drop into a natural position. So it's really weird because my left foot always kind of goes to a dorsiflex and my right foot always goes towards a plantar flex. And that just seems to be the natural position that my feet drop into. So just pay attention to where your feet actually are, with your legs nice and relaxed and your feet in kind of your neutral. So you're laying here. What are your feet doing? Where are they? Are they both in symmetry? Does one leg feel longer than the other? Is one foot facing the opposite way? Are they both going in the same direction? Like, what is kind of comfortable for your feet? I just want you to take some nice deep breaths in. Just allow your breath to return to normal. I want you to pay particular attention to your feet. How do they feel now that we've done those stretches on them? Now that we've really engaged them in our practice today, how does it make your feet feel? Do they feel sore? Do they feel relaxed? Do they feel like, oh, thank God, finally a bit of TLC for me? When you think about it, they take all of our weight. They carry us around. They carry what we carry. We walk on them barefooted. How often do we moisturise them? How often do we really show them our appreciation for them holding our weight, carrying us around? Equally, if you don't have strong feet and you don't have strong ankle muscles, ligaments, tendons, it can cause problems further up your legs, even as far up into your pelvis and your hips, because everything goes out of alignment. So part of the reason for strengthening them and giving them that flexibility is just to help keep everything in balance, just to bring the whole body into alignment. So now that you've had time to focus on your feet, I want you just to scan the rest of your body. We did engage some of the other muscle groups, certainly our hamstrings and our quads. A few points we engaged the core, even in our wrists, biceps and triceps. How are those shoulders feeling? How is your neck? Even your jaw. How is that jaw doing? Just focus on your breathing. Really just, all I want you to do is just think about your breathing. I don't need to make it long or deep. Just want you to just breathe naturally. But just follow it with your mind. Very slowly, I'd like you to become aware of your body. Start by wiggling your toes. Moving your fingers. Just do a couple of little rotations of your ankles and your wrists. And the legs. Bring those knees up to meet your chest. Roll over onto your side. When you're ready, keeping your eyes closed, just coming back into seated. Putting your hands together, thumb into your heart center. A smile on your face. Slowly blink your eyes open. So from my heart to yours, namaste.
Namaste.
So hopefully that was nice on the ankles and your feet, and wasn't too painful anywhere. The dog has literally finished just. So that worked. That kept her quiet for an hour. Okay, I love you all. Remember, love to your feet, okay? I'll see you later. Bye.